I will introduce, actually like to introduce Byron Lazine. Byron is with Company Cubed. They are members of the association and very proud to have them involved with us. We're using them for a couple of our social media pieces that we're doing, and they're helping us get at least into the 1990s with social media right now. So we thank them for what they're doing for the association. Today's session, Lunch and Learn session, is how to grow your business and build your brand. Byron's going to talk a little bit about some basic social media things, and then also take us through how you build a following, how you what you can do to online with your business to really use it as a marketing tool. And so many people are now, I think today's the first day that Connecticut's starting to reopen, and I think they're going to start looking for some of those business resources. And it's a great way to get in front of people in a broad way and also a very specific way. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Byron.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the introduction and everybody's time. If Jill could bring the slides up, and we'll start right on slide number 2, the table of contents. And before we jump into it, I do want to reiterate what Eric said. If you have any questions, please put those in the comment section. Feel free to ask as many questions as you want. We're going to spend some time at the end of this going through all the questions, and hopefully we'll get through these slides so we have a lot of time for Q&A. We're going to talk about 6 things here before we start taking questions. Number 1, why social media? There are still a number of people debating whether they should be on social media, whether their business is right for targeting audiences on these different platforms. So we're going to get into that. Number 2, the different social profiles and channels, what they all mean. Number 3, creating your actual social presence. Number 4, growing your audience and getting discovered. Utilizing advertising, number 5, and then talking a little bit about the Parade of Homes project, which we partnered with HBRA, and there's some real opportunities there for all of you guys, obviously, to enhance your brand that way and be involved in the Parade of Homes tour. So let's jump right into it. Why social media? It is a little bit crazy to me that we're even still having this debate and this conversation. I think the last 10 weeks would certainly serve as enough evidence for everybody that has been debating it on how much all of the people just think about all the people in your life, how much time they're spending on this device, right? If you walk into a restaurant, it's like, I know so many people have heard somebody say, oh my gosh, how sad is it? Like couples over there, they're not even talking, they're looking at their phones, or everybody in the coffee shop is looking at their phones. What has this world come to? Well, there's a pretty cool meme out there that you can find somewhere where it shows, like, you know, the 1910s, the 1920s, everybody's sitting on a subway and their heads are down and they're looking at the newspaper, right? All of our heads are going to be down consuming information on some type of platform forever and always, whether that's visual, audio, or written word. Those are the 3 forms of communication forever and always, even back to the cavemen drawing pictures on their walls. It is always going to be a part of our lives, consuming content. And the last 10 weeks really showcase that. How many people do you know have been doing nothing over the last 10 weeks besides scrolling on all of these different platforms and consuming content that other companies or other brands are producing on a daily basis, right? There's a couple interesting stats here. 21% of consumers are more likely to buy from builders they can reach on social media. For all of the builders that are on this call right now, you guys know better than I do how many, if you hear this a lot, young people are the only people on social media. How many people are coming to you making decisions based off of the conversations they're having with their sons and their daughters, right? How many people are including the entire family in these decisions to build, where to build, how to build, or even how to find the right builder? That stat is also very misleading if you talk about Facebook specifically, right? Facebook is over 50 years old at this point. That's 50 years and up, where Instagram is more of, say, the 40s, and then TikTok or something like that is a whole nother ballgame where it's mostly young people. But social media at this point in 2020 is not young people. Facebook is the newspaper of today. It's where people are getting their information. That's where they're having conversations about the information they're receiving. And it's where they're consuming the majority of their content, Facebook or Instagram. 37% of buyer decisions are inspired through social media. If you're researching something, think about your own habits too. If you're researching something for the first time in a different location, say you're out of Connecticut and you're vacationing in Florida, where are the places that you go to find that information? How do you search for that information? Today, the majority of people are doing those quick searches on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? When we think about YouTube, it's owned by Google. It is the second largest search platform after Google. People are searching for everything through that platform. So it shouldn't even be a debate right now. If it is still something you're debating internally or within your company or on your board of should we be shifting marketing dollars to social media, that boat has passed. You should absolutely be creating content as if you were the news source for your local area, for your community, for your target consumer, people that want to build homes. You should be bringing them the news. And if you are the person bringing them news in form of video, pretty pictures, written word, blogs, etc., then you are going to be seen as the voice of reason. You're going to be seen as the expert, which is what anybody in business is striving for. You want people to see you as that expert so that they come to you with their questions, which creates the opportunity for conversation to do business. Go ahead, Jill, move on to slide number 2. So let's talk a little bit about the profiles and channels. Facebook, if you're not marketing daily on Facebook, that is absolutely the first place that you want to start. You can see here they've got 1.5 plus billion daily active users. Again, 85, I mentioned the over 50 stat. 85% of Americans, 85% of people 50 years and older are using Facebook actively every single day. 85% of people over the age of 50 are using Facebook actively for some period of time every single day. That is an enormous opportunity and amount of people that are consuming information on that platform. Facebook owns Instagram. Okay. So Instagram, certainly in our world of pretty homes and, work, the different features of a home, things like that, the work that you guys are doing, those are very visual images that really play well on Instagram. Nice thing about Facebook owning Instagram is it makes it easier for all of us to market on both platforms, right? You can share things on Facebook that automatically will populate to both Facebook and Instagram automatically, right? YouTube, I mentioned earlier, is owned by Google. If you're typing in something into Google, video related, they're not going to populate your Facebook video. They're going to populate a YouTube video because they own YouTube. So knowing how important Google has been to all of our businesses, certainly in the early 2000s, for example, where Google AdWords were basically what Facebook ads and Instagram ads are today, super undervalued and underpriced for the attention that you receive. Google is still extremely important as a search platform, but more so being on YouTube, so that when you do have a consumer search something on Google, those YouTube videos will surface directly to the top. And there's a number of social media platforms. The reason there's only 4 on here is at a bare minimum. If I am a contractor, a builder, a developer, somebody in the trades, a lighting or a fixture store, something like that. These 4 platforms at a bare minimum are places I should be creating content on every single day: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you're somebody that's selling to the trades, working, maybe you are a lighting fixture store and it's a B2B, business to business sale, then LinkedIn maybe would go to the top of this list for you, these 4. But if you are dealing directly with the consumers, at a bare minimum, Facebook and Instagram are by far the most undervalued and best resource that you can use to reach your end consumer. Think about how expensive it is right now to advertise on TV or in the newspaper. And I'm not putting the value of those 2 platforms down. I'm just saying, think about how expensive it is and what that shelf life, what happens after you put something into the newspaper. What is the shelf life? It's 24 hours at best if people are still buying the newspaper, right? Same thing with that TV commercial. If I didn't change the channel or look at my phone when the TV commercial came up, I might have a 30-second shelf life of actually seeing that commercial. Where on Facebook, the content that you produce can also live forever on your website. It can also live forever on your YouTube. It can live forever on your Facebook. There's the functionality of other people being able to share that with people who may be interested, meaning they could just send it to their friend in Messenger, send it as an email, share it on their Facebook page so that more people see it. You can't get that with newspaper. You can't track how many people actually even saw your messaging in print advertising, newspaper, magazine. Same thing with TV. You can't share that content with anybody. So it's more of TV, newspaper. It's more of a hope and pray the right person stumbles across page 37, bottom right hand corner ad, as opposed to being able to deliberately target the audience that you're looking for. And if they're really interested in that content, then having the ability for them to share it. Let's talk about actually creating your social presence. Okay, once you've been convinced that social media is somewhere your business needs to be producing content, you're going to want to start creating that presence, start creating that brand online that people can see over and over and over again, just like they used to back in the day. Pick up the newspaper every single day and read that over and over again. So having a consistent logo for your company. Your logo, remember, is not your brand. Your logo is nothing more than your logo. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be super cool, but it should be consistent across all of the different platforms. Platforms meaning Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. You should have a consistent look and feel across all those platforms, no matter, again, how cool the logo is. Your brand comes off of what you do, the conversations you have online, the content that you're producing, the messaging that you're delivering over and over and over again to the end consumer. That builds your brand. That builds your trust with the consumer. But it does start with having a consistent image so that when people see it, they recognize it. Similar to, like, if you watch HBO, it's got that sonic sound that opens up HBO. It's HBO. Or certain radio ads. Like, same thing visually. You want to see a consistent image every single time. The golden arches of McDonald's haven't changed because it's who they are. It's what they represent. That's their logo. It never changes. And you see it over and over again consistently across their platforms. You also want to try to get the same handle. The handle is like if you're on Twitter, the @ name, right? So like for my personal pages, it's Byron Lazine, @ Byron Lazine. But for your company, @ company X, you should try to get that same handle or have a consistent handle across all of the platforms. Linking these pages for content distribution. We talked about that a little bit. That Facebook and Instagram, you can easily link your business page on Facebook to your business page on Instagram so that when you upload to one, it automatically will post to both platforms. And you can also use a free source like Hootsuite. And Hootsuite is just an app you can download on your phone. If you're producing content on your phone, you can also log into it from your desktop or laptop. And that will allow you to schedule this content out, say on a Sunday afternoon or Monday for the entire week. I hear this feedback a lot. It's like, man, I know I should be producing content on social media. I know that's where all the eyeballs are. I know that's where the attention is in 2020, but I'm so overwhelmed with just the leads that I have coming in off of, I've been in business, Byron, 25 years. I have so much word of mouth business. I don't even have the time to even think about logging into Facebook. If you can carve out, or somebody on your team can carve out 2 to 4 hours a week just on scheduling your content out for the entire week, every single day, Hootsuite will allow you to do that. Scheduling your Monday post, your Tuesday post, your Wednesday post. So that way you can time block it, chunk it out, and get it done and move on. Making one post a week is like making zero today. That's a really important point. Making one post a week is like making zero. These platforms need to be fed like a newborn child. They need to be fed all the time, or like a puppy, maybe. I don't know if newborn children, I don't think they eat a lot. Maybe they don't eat a lot. It could be a puppy. Those puppies eat a lot. You got to feed it every single day. These algorithms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they are going to give you more organic, meaning more unpaid eyeballs where you don't have to pay for advertisements. They're going to give you more of that the more you post and the more people engage with your content. There's a fire hose of information coming at all consumers right now every single day. We're being marketed to thousands of times every single day on our phones without even realizing it. So if you're not producing content every single day, you're never going to show up in front of anybody. It's better off, if you're not going to do this stuff every day or schedule it out for the whole week to be going out every day, you're almost better off not even doing it, just setting up a consistent profile page so that when people search you, they actually find something. But the content is a requirement every day, forever and always. I don't think this is changing and going backwards, guys. I don't think, with where we are in technology and life, that the amount of content we have to produce as businesses is going to go down. It's only going to go up. People are going to continue to consume information faster. They're going to continue to consume more information on a daily basis. That trend's going to continue to go up. So we have to continue to provide that content. They'll either go to the local news source or they'll go to a competitor, but they're going to consume information with or without our companies. So once you've actually created your social presence, it's consistent across all the platforms. You've got your write-ups consistent. You've got your message, who you are and who you want to attract. The next thing you're going to want to start to do is, like I said, post every single day. Post the content that's relevant to your brand. But you're going to want to start to grow your audience, right? None of us want to keep doing something every day and not see those numbers going up, not see more people engaging. So how can you actually grow an audience online? First thing is, make sure you have your personal profile page. Everybody that's on Facebook right now has a personal profile page. And then you have your business page, Company X and Byron Lazine, right? Those are two separate pages. My personal page is an opportunity in my bio for me to have the link out to my company, for me to talk about who I am as an individual, right? In my bio and in the content that I'm posting, but also for me to have the ability to share because on my personal page, a lot of the people that I know in my community are friends with me. It's an opportunity for me to share on appropriate times my business page, get people over there to start following the company. I don't on my personal page want to have everything redundant to what I'm posting on my company page. I want to talk about the community. I want to talk, if you're into sharing stuff about your family, you want to do that. But the engage part of this is not being a Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn stalker. The engage part means you're actually going to be social on these platforms with your personal page, meaning when somebody posts a picture of something that's important to them, something that's going on in their town, in their community, in their family, that's connected to your personal page, instead of consuming the post, instead of consuming the picture or the video and reading the comments and then moving on into your news feed, you stop, you send them a thumbs up, a like, or a heart, but you also, most importantly, engage in the conversation. You leave a comment on their post. If you're leaving 10 comments on 10 people's posts every single day, that's like having 70 conversations a week. We all know in business that in order to attract new leads, in order to attract new interest in our product, we need to be having conversations. A conversation could be as simple as, oh my gosh, your family portraits look amazing. You guys are so cute. Doesn't say anything about your business, but what does that do? It gives that person that hit of dopamine. It gives that person that rush that somebody else has commented on my post. And I got to tell you, people that are spending time to make a post about their family, about something that's important to them, about something in their community, they're also spending the time looking at every single person that made a comment on those posts. What they're also going to do is click on a number of those people making comments on their personal post. And if your personal page now has made that comment, great job, you guys are so cute, you guys are amazing, can't wait to see you. And now they're gonna, oh, what's up? What's up with Byron? I'm gonna click on his profile. What's he been up to? Oh, look at this. Look at what he's been up to. Look at, oh man, 3 or 4 down. There's something on this company. I totally forgot. He does it. Well, let me see what they're doing. They're gonna start to naturally stalk you on social media. I gotta tell you guys, me personally, I would never be posting on social media as much as I do right now if I wasn't a business minded individual. I am not on social media because I frankly care about any one of my 40 something cousins, families, or anything like that. I'm just going to be frank with you guys. I'm on social media to make money for my business. Period. End of story. But in order for me to make money on social media for my business, I have to be interested in other people. It's social media. I have to engage in other people's posts, whether I care about them or not, guys. Like whether I care about really what they're putting out there or not, I've got to engage because that engagement is reciprocal. If I engage with your stuff, you're going to be more likely to engage with my stuff. The more you engage with my stuff, the more comments you leave on my stuff, whether it's business related or not, the more eyeballs the algorithm of Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform I am on, the more eyeballs they're going to send. Hey, there's people engaging. Let's send people that aren't connected to them over to see this post. And that's how you start to really grow your audience outside of just the people that you know. So respond to comments, but also post comments on other people's stuff. Make that a ritual every single day. It's as important as checking your emails. It's as important as responding to your text messages, engaging on social media comments. Inviting. When people like a post specifically on your Facebook business page, okay, when people like a post on your Facebook business page, you now have the ability at the top to go there and all the people in that post that have liked it that aren't following your page, you can send them an invite, which will end up in their notifications at the top to like your page. You also can send an invite from everybody that's on your personal page to like your business page. So if you haven't started a Facebook business page and you're just getting started, everybody starts at 0, by the way. There's nobody in history that has started Facebook at more than 0. So you're going to have 0 followers, but you can invite all of the friends that you have on your Facebook page. And as you start creating content, everybody that likes that content, you can invite them in to start following your business page. Direct messages. Facebook direct messages are up over 90% open rate. It's like email of the late 1990s. Remember when everybody used to read 100% of their emails because it was new and it was interesting and it was so important you didn't want to miss an email? Open rates were over 90%. That's Facebook Messenger today. That's Instagram direct messenger today. So you want to respond to any direct messages that you're receiving. But if you are B2B, or if you do have consumer leads, you're sending them emails and they're not responding and they're not even opening them. You can track your emails and see these people aren't even opening the information that I'm sending them. I guarantee you, if you send them a Facebook direct message or an Instagram direct message, they are going to open it. And you could be able to actually see that on those message platforms, whether they opened it or not. Now, whether they respond, that's going to depend on the information that you're sending them. Is that information actually valuable? But the open rate on direct messages is through the roof. It's like email was in the 90s. You can also use, if you have a current client email list, or you have a email, just an email list, past clients, leads, whatever it may be, you can actually upload that email list into Facebook and you can start to target them on Facebook. So maybe your newsletter right now is getting 20% open rates, which would be very good for this industry. The industry average is under 20% open rate. But if your email list was getting an open rate of say 20%, you're like, man, I just wish these other 80% of people, I know they like my brand. They really need to see these emails. There's great information in there. How do you target those 80%? You upload the email list to Facebook and you can start to run ads against your email list, basically following them around the internet. Anybody that's shopped online and maybe went on L&L Bean and you were looking at like button-down shirts, green, purple, and blue, and maybe you even bought the purple one, the next thing you see online everywhere you go is the green one because you were also interested in that. Same thing. People that are interested in your brand, you should be following them around online at a ridiculously low cost of, right now, for example, I know this stat off the top of my head, so I'll use this one. YouTube pre-roll ads. You can get for one view, it'll cost you 4 cents. A cost per view, CPV, cost per view equals 4 cents or less on YouTube pre-rolls. And the best thing about YouTube is you can target people that are looking for, say, locally Fox 61 content. You can put your ad out in front of the Fox 61 YouTube page. I probably wouldn't suggest that one, but I'm just using that as an example. You can also get out in front of people that have been searching on Google. I need a roof, local roofers, right? Now, the 3 hours that they're spending consuming content on YouTube, your ads are going to pop up because remember, Google owns YouTube. And so they're going to see your ad on YouTube, your pre-roll ad, at a cost of 4 cents per view. And you actually know how many people are viewing it, unlike traditional media outlets like print. So your email database that you guys already have is very useful. Email is still the passcode to everybody getting into one of these social sites. And that's how it really works, right? If you have an email list and they've used that email to also open up a bunch of social platforms, you can now follow them around the internet, as I like to say, with your ads. So you're targeting based off of the emails you've already been collecting over the years, goes up quite a bit. Advertising on these platforms. I just mentioned YouTube and the pre-roll cost is ridiculously low, 4 cents cost per view. Facebook, you can advertise directly on Facebook by going, and you can go to the next slide. There you go. Going to business.facebook.com/ads manager. And just a reminder, you guys are going to get these slides. So don't feel like you got to take a bunch of notes or something. You'll get these slides after the call at some point. But once you have your business Facebook page, you can start to run ads. And this is why you don't want to be promoting your business on your personal page. You want to have a business page so you actually have the ability to run ads at this ridiculously low cost. business.facebook.com/ads manager. You can target ads on the back end of Facebook that go both to Facebook and Instagram. So if you've been on Instagram and you've been in somebody's stories, the little stories at the top, you see a lot of these swipe up ads. I wonder how they do that. Well, there's two ways to do it. You can either have 10,000 followers, which if you're just starting your page, then you probably, again, everybody starts at zero. You wouldn't have that, but you can also just pay for that exposure, right? Maybe you are doing something like the Parade of Homes. Hey, I'm going to be at the Parade of Homes in October. Swipe up to sign up now. Or we just released 3 new floor plans for our custom homes located in here. Swipe up to download those 3 floor plans, right? These quick little ads, and those ads can go to who you want them to go to, right? It could be, again, based off of that email list of people that aren't responding to you. They could be old leads from 3 years ago. How many builders out there might have leads where 3 years ago hey, we're thinking about downsizing, and the kids are going to be out of the house in a year or two, so we're just collecting information. How many conversations do you guys have like that every single month? We're collecting information right now. We're a year or two away. Well, think about those leads from 3-4 years ago. Maybe they're ready to go. Maybe the last 10 weeks have sparked a desire for them to actually take that step that they've been talking about and telling everybody about for 3 or 4 years, and they're actually ready to go. But what would be worse than them not remembering your name right now because you haven't been effectively marketing to that old lead over the last 3 or 4 years? By uploading their emails into the back end of Facebook, business.facebook.com ads manager, you can now target those leads, and then boom, it's going to be like serendipity. Oh my gosh, I just saw this ad. I remember talking to that builder 3 years ago. Now I remember what their name is. I got to reach out to them. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make this life change. The pandemic has got me making life decisions very quickly, and I'm ready to go. I don't know about you guys, but I'm experiencing a lot of that in the last 10 weeks. People are ready to make decisions. They're making quicker decisions. They're not, there's not a lot of tire kickers out there right now, and they are ready to go. This has altered people's lives, and it's altered all of our lives, right? In ways that are going to last forever. But it's also, there's been a silver lining for people that are in the housing industry, because people have been stuck in their homes and they've been thinking about these things for a long time. They've had more time to think, and they're going to make these decisions, and they're making them right now. So you want to make sure that you're out in front of them and you're not losing those opportunities to whoever the flavor of the moment is because a new builder recommendation came in from a friend, because you're not effectively getting your message out in front of them on social media on a daily basis, where they're, by the way, as I said before, spending an absurd amount of time every single day just staring at the screen. You can also do boost the post. So if you put just a post on your business page profile, maybe it's a picture of a behind the scenes rehab of a kitchen, that post can now be boosted to a target audience. Maybe it's an entire county, maybe it's the entire state, maybe it's again, that email list. You can also run dark ads. A dark ad is different from taking that post on your profile and boosting it so that it receives more exposure. The dark ad never ends up on your actual business page. It's dark because it only will end up in the newsfeed of the target audience that you have selected. And you can do all of this on this ads manager back end of Facebook. Also have the ability to review and revise these posts. Facebook will review it. There are compliance with housing that you have to adhere to. It is rather user friendly once you get used to it. I'm open, and my team with Jill and Vanessa, we're open to doing one-on-ones if there's something specific to, actually figuring out how to start the business page, or any questions on the ads manager. We're happy to do that, and we're going to take questions here, obviously, in just a second on stuff that we can answer right now. But we're happy to set up one-on-one times after this. We'll be sending these slides out, and we can set up times in the future if that's something that would bring you value. The last thing I just want to mention is, we did partner here with HBRA to provide a social media campaign for everybody that is getting involved in the Parade of Homes. So everybody that does sign up gets a 60-second builder profile, as well as a 90-second project tour. These are video tours where our videographer is going to come out, have the script and the questions ready for you, and go through the entire process with you. Doesn't take much time at all, but both of these videos are going to be kind of what we talked about here with the ads, are going to be put out in front of target audiences throughout the buildup of the Parade of Homes in October. So just want to mention that huge opportunity. If you haven't already signed up for the Parade of Homes, I would urge you to do that, especially if you haven't started really producing content on social media. This is going to be an easy way to kickstart your presence, your brand, and get some video work out of that. All right. And I would encourage you guys, if you do sign up for the Parade of Homes, on that video day, like, have somebody else from your team, like, taking behind the scenes photos. That one day alone, you could probably get 20 shots just off of your iPhone of behind the scenes stuff. We signed up for the Parade of Homes. We're doing our video. We're getting ready for this. Like, those are all great, juicy pieces of content for Instagram or Facebook to start building up that awareness about who you are and what you do. And that behind the scenes look, everybody loves behind the scenes. So you can get a lot more content just outside of the video, right? Oh my gosh, now you're building the interest in the video. I can't wait to see that video. All right. I want to take as many questions as we can here in the next 15 or 20 minutes. I think we've got about 20 minutes left, and I haven't looked in the chat section, but if you want to put a question in the chat or unmute yourself and ask the question, either way, let's get into it and answer some questions.
Great, Byron. Well, thank you very much. That was very informative, and certainly I learned some things that we will be implementing for the association here. As you said, if anybody's got some questions, please either unmute yourself or put them into the chat box, and love to find out what's on your mind. Anybody any questions?
Yeah, we got an empty chat box here.
It was that thorough.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily exactly what we went over here in the slides. It could be a super, maybe some of the stuff was a little too 101 for you, and you have a question that's very technical or tactical. Any question you have about, or it could be, super basic too. Any question you have regarding your brand on social media.
Byron, I have a question. On your comments about posting every day and consistently posting, I don't have a clue what kind of things that would be important or even interesting to somebody else to look at once a week, never mind every day. So how do you start that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's probably on everybody's mind. So Kevin, let me start just by asking you a quick question. What do you do? Are you a builder? Or are you remote?
I'm a supplier. I sell building millwork materials to the builders.
You're a supplier to other builders, so you're more B2B?
Right. I supply the builders with lumber and millwork.
Great. So, and you've been in business how long?
A little over 30 years.
I would imagine, I would bet rather, that over the last 30 years, you've been emailed or you've even been asked verbally over the phone or an email in writing a number of questions from these builders, like just generic questions. Are there any questions right now that come to mind that people ask you on a consistent basis that you're supplying material to?
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
one question?
And it could be about how to structurally connect something for a deck, for instance, a deck
Great.
railing.
And there's probably, if we sat down with maybe a glass of scotch or whatever your drink of choice is, right? If you drink. But if we sat down and just kind of unwound all those questions you've been asked over the last 30 years, would it be safe for me to say that we'd probably have in a few hours a list of over 50 questions?
I think so. I guess they become so mundane to
To
me
you, because
personally that
you
I'm
know
not sure they're important to anybody else.
these are the questions, Kevin, these questions that we would come up with, 50 questions or so.
Mhm.
These are the questions that the people that you're supplying this stuff to are typing into Google every single day. And we could actually, right, like start typing in those questions in the back end of Google and find out which ones are the most popular. But stick with me here. Producing content every day could be as simple as taking all those questions, 50 of them, and saying, this is my question for the week. Now I'm going to shoot a video perhaps, or if video is not my thing, maybe I'm going to write a blog, or maybe I'm going to do an infographic, right? And I'm going to actually articulate the answer to that question. That can now live as a blog post on LinkedIn. It can live as the video on YouTube. It can live as the post on Facebook, on Instagram. You can chop up that one question in video, graphic, and written words. So you get 3 pieces of content just off of that one question. It's literally like pretending you're on a Q&A show. But it's not pretend, because if you look back in your email, you're getting these questions every single day. You're naturally getting it. Now you're just sharing this information with all of the consumers, which brings attention to your brand, which brings the level of expertise up a notch, because they're like, whoa, this guy's got so much information. He continues to share the information for free, which naturally, obviously will bring you more attention. But that's always the place I'd start with anyone that's thinking, I don't have enough interesting things to say, I don't have enough content. Just simply create a Q&A around the questions that are living in your email, or the questions that are getting up every day and that you're getting every single day from people. Ask the question and then articulate the answer in written word and in video form. And off of that one question, if you did that as your show every single week, or maybe you did a 3-question show, now the whole show is, say, 15 or 20 minutes. That's the piece that goes out on Monday where you answer 3 questions. Now you can clip out those specific questions, and those become 3 more videos just targeted to that one question. Becomes 3 different blogs. It becomes 3 different infographics or quotes from the video, and it becomes maybe 3 different screenshots, action shots of you in the video. Right there is 12 to 15 pieces of content a week, just off of 3 questions that you're getting asked every single day, and that you can naturally just spit off the answers to, because you've got 30 years in the business. Like,
So that sounds like a full-time job. And when you're starting out with 0 viewers, it hardly seems worth it. So how
yeah,
do you get to the point where you cross that magic line of it's worth doing and spending that time?
and it depends on your ambitions, right? For you, this is more of a personal question, because if you're somebody that's like, I've been in it 30 years, I need to squeeze another 3 years out of this, and then I'm going to sell the company, or I'm going to just hang it up, it's probably not that important. If you're going to, well, actually, I would argue if you're going to sell the company, it is pretty important. But if you're going to pass this company down, if it's a legacy company, you want to be positioned. How do you get your business now? Is it because people know you, Kevin?
Let me be clear. I'm a salesman working as an employee for a
Okay.
lumberyard. So I work, I'm out there trying to generate business for the company, for myself.
And okay.
That's why I'm interested in this.
Absolutely. So you want more leads, am I right? You want more leads to follow up on?
Right.
I mean, there's your answer, right? This will generate leads for you beyond anything else you can put money into. Now, I don't
To
think
get to those people who aren't already connected to me.
correct. I don't think right off the bat it's gonna. Your biggest lead source is probably, if you've been in business 30 years, it's probably referrals. Am I right?
Right.
So in the first 3 months, it's not going to trump referrals or anything like that, but it will continue to build your brand online, get you in front of people that you've never spoken to before, and you can target the people that are searching for your materials online and now become top of mind and start to build a bigger pipeline.
Okay. And that's through the back end of the Google business page and through
Yeah,
my
all
email?
the, like, Google Ads has a back end, right? Just like Facebook, where we talked about Facebook, the business ads manager, they all have these back ends to be able to set up advertisements to target. And we're going to do a couple more webinars. I think the next one we're going to do, Jill can maybe jump in if it's next month. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but we're going to do one in June where we talk about getting the most out of your Creative Homes video. And we're actually going, instead of slides, we're going to go right into these ads managers and walk you through how to set up an ad. So you will get that as one of these webinars in the future.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. Danica, I think you were starting to ask something as well.
Important are stories on both Facebook and Instagram. So I noticed that some people post more than others, but when is enough too much where people are not filtering by and just looking at everybody else's after?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Danica. I think we had you on mute for a second there. Could you re-ask the question?
I think you said Facebook and Instagram stories.
Correct. Yep. So besides the direct post, but how important are the stories on both Facebook and Instagram? And when is enough? Like, I don't want to post too much where people are just swiping by it if they're not liking it. Is there?
So the Instagram and Facebook stories, those are the little circles at the top of these platforms that show up at the top. You should, at minimum, especially on Instagram right now, you should be at least having an active story every 24 hours. These stories disappear after 24 hours. So really, if the best way to do it is every like 3-4 hours having a new story go up so that you're always at the top of the Instagram platform when people log in. You want your circle to be the top. That's a free billboard. And nice thing about stories. So what do I think is too much? I think people that have 60 different stories is too much, and all those little dots. The sweet spot is about 8 to 10 stories on Instagram and Facebook per day.
Okay.
Now, the other thing that's interesting about stories is that's your permission to be a little bit more aggressive with your CTAs, your call to action, right? That's your permission to almost be more of a commercial in the story, where on your actual profile, Instagram or Facebook, you want to be sharing free content that's valuable to people. But in that story, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your calls to action. Sign up now, swipe up for this, buy this home, buy this material. And you also want to, on your stories, especially on Instagram, let people know that you have a new post on your Instagram bio, but change it a little bit. Ask a question about the post and you can do those polls and you can get some information out of that. But to answer your question directly, 8 to 10, but at a minimum, make sure you have at least one story up every 24 hours.
Okay. Thanks.
I think we've got a couple questions now in the chat, so I'll go through those. We've got Bruce from Wells Fargo. Bruce, what's going on? What is the impact to your business once you started using these social media practices? I'll be honest with you guys. The reason why most people stop is the impact initially seems like nothing, because again, if you're just starting, you're starting at zero. It's like going to if you're 50 pounds overweight and you go to the gym, and you do push-ups on Monday and you go back on Tuesday and you hit the bike. I know we can't go to the gym now, but just theoretically. And then on Wednesday, you go and you're back to doing sit-ups. And then on Thursday, you get on the scale and you're like, I'm 51 pounds overweight. I just gained a pound, right? Well, you only did it for 3 days. It's like dieting and it's like exercise. You have got to do it consistently every single week for a long period of time to actually start to see those benefits, to see that weight loss, to see that muscle gain, whatever you're trying to accomplish. That being said, once you start doing that, it can happen very quickly, Bruce, depending on how good your content is, the message that you're sharing. If it's really good content, the impact is going to take off right away. About 7 years ago, I started my real estate sales career, and I looked at all of the top agents and said, gee, all of these guys are just advertising in the newspaper. Guys and girls are all just advertising in the newspaper. They've been in the business 30 years. They've got this great referral business. How the heck do I even grow a referral business as a new real estate salesperson? Now today, over 60% of my business is sphere of influence. It's direct referrals from people. And you're like, well, what the heck's that got to do with social media? I get referrals on listings where I go and I say, hey, who told you about me? Oh, well, it was Tommy told me you're the best real estate agent. And this is a real story. This guy, Tom Eustace, said to a couple, Byron's the best real estate agent that I know. You got to go interview him. Well, Tom Eustace, the last time I saw him, I was working at Millstone Nuclear Power Station and did not have a real estate license. Have never talked to him since the day I quit Millstone. Never had a conversation with him, never sent him a text, never engaged with him, what I told you is the most important thing to do. But he believes I'm the best real estate agent because he sees a billboard across his platform, Facebook, Instagram, every single day of me delivering a message talking about real estate. Within 7 years, I became an expert in real estate by putting out content every single day. It's the consistency, Bruce. You got to do it every single day. You got to, like anything else, if you're going to be good at something, you got to do it over and over and over again. And then you will start to build that presence and you'll start to see that impact that you're making. Kelly asks, can you repost the same images over and over and again, or does it need to be new content fresh? You can replicate content over and over again. And I think that's where some people get caught, where it's like, well, I posted that last month. If it's a great performing post, post it again. Think about some of, like, my favorite show of all time is Seinfeld. Seinfeld was the same exact thing every single show, but that's why I kept going back to it. I loved it. It's like the same weird, unique situations, and that's why I keep going back. People that watch the Kardashians, right? It's the same drama every single show, same characters, and people watch it over and over and over again. Sports talk radio, same arguments. They've been talking about Michael Jordan, LeBron, who's the better basketball player, right? Now for a decade, that argument is going to last forever, right? So all of the things that we do in our business is tried and true, and it is okay to use that content, especially the stuff that works over and over again. But you do want to mix in, fresh ways to deliver that content, right? Maybe it's paint on a house and it's a great color. Well, what other homes do you have it on? Can you actually take that paint color now and maybe put it on a piece of siding that's not on a house and hold it up in a pretty picture? How many different ways can you get that one paint color across multiple times? That's how you're going to keep those particular images fresh. It's just tweaking them a little bit. Or the copy. Copy is dramatically important as well. But moving on. Nancy, is it worthwhile to post on your Google page, post pictures? Nancy, if you can jump in, what do you mean by Google page? If you're referring to the
I'm referring to like when I go to Google, there's a page where it has you put posts or pictures
Okay. So no, it's not wildly important. I mean, anything is worthwhile, like when it's free, which, you know, that's free, but going back to the platforms, Facebook, number one for this audience, Instagram, number two, YouTube, number three, and then LinkedIn, number four. If you're B2B, like, Frank, was it Frank? That was his name?
Kevin.
If you're B2B, LinkedIn will probably be number one, but yeah, don't worry about the Google page. Kelly, where can you find the best hashtags to be using? There are, what I would do, and this is what I do, is if I'm on Instagram, I would search the hashtags that are getting the most engagement. If you go to your Instagram, you can actually search these hashtags at the very top on the search. You can see that golf is coming up for me because I searched a lot, right? And then just look for those hashtags that are getting the most engagement, and the ones that are locally, if you're a local business, that are getting the most engagement. If Jill wants to jump in, I don't know if Jill, is there an actual resource you can go and just download the best hashtags?
There are different sources that you will find if you Google hashtags for siding in Connecticut. There is a new theory that don't overwhelm your posts with miscellaneous hashtags, because those are not getting the same amount of viewership. They want you to be thoughtful with ones you choose. There used to be, you use the 30, that's the maximum, and there was a certain set that would allow those posts to go viral, but Instagram doesn't utilize hashtags that way. They want to make sure your hashtag is relevant to what your post is.
And Kelly, the other thing that you can do to test hashtags is use hashtags in your Instagram story. Now, when you go back and you review everybody in those stories that has watched, because you can actually see who's seen that Instagram story, they'll also show you how many people are coming directly from that hashtag. I know, for example, about 12 months ago, we were getting 200 organic views every time we used the hashtag luxury homes, where luxury real estate was getting like 10 organic views. So testing those, if you are in the luxury home space, luxury homes is still a good hashtag right now. That's still working. But test it for your specific business. And I know we're just now over a minute over here, so we have 3 more webinars that we're going to do. We can get into some more of that technical stuff. And next webinar that we're going to do is going to be specific on advertising and getting more attention on a specific piece of content. So we're going to spend that hour digging deep on actually getting exposure on a specific piece of content and get very tactical in that next webinar. We just wanted to kind of scratch the surface here today.
Well, Byron, thank you very much. That was very informative. And again, I've learned quite a bit myself for our social media accounts. If anybody does have any further questions, send them over to us. We can shoot those over to Byron. We'll get the slides and we will send those out to everybody as well following the meeting here. I did also just want to let everybody know we have a special, next week will be our membership meeting on Thursday, the 28th. And we will do some networking like we did last month. We do have a special guest that is joining us. It's the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Economic and Community Development, Alexandra Daum, and she's gonna be joining us to talk about the Connecticut's reopening efforts and some of the things that businesses can be seeing and will be seeing, I think, in the coming weeks. So great opportunity to speak directly with the Deputy Commissioner of DECD and learn a little bit about what's coming up with the opening of Connecticut. We're starting today. So again, Byron and Jill, thank you so much for your presentation. Again, hopefully everybody enjoyed the lunch and learn this week. We'll have something in next week, and this will continue on a weekly basis for a while. So hopefully this is, if anybody has any topics that you would like to hear, also please shoot those over to myself or Sheila, and we want to make sure that these are relevant in the content for all of you. So send those topics over to us. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Jill, do you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure we captured everyone that was on that we cannot identify. You have a few iPhones, and then I have a number. I see a nice face. But if we could capture those folks so that we know who we're sending slides to. There's an iPhone that is connected on here that doesn't have a name. Can you identify yourself? Okay. And then I see the number A35, gentleman in the blue shirt. What is your name?
That's Bruce.
That's Bruce. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Bruce.
Great. Well, thank you again, and we look forward to seeing everybody soon. And be well, and enjoy this beautiful weather too. Thank you very much.